Hi, my name is Megan Mosholder and I'm an artist. I am primarily a large-scale installation artist and I am a former Tulsa Artist Fellow. I'm currently based in Atlanta, Georgia, where I'm also a professor at Kennesaw State University. Today I am going to show you how to make a mobile out of egg cartons. Mobiles as an art form didn't really start to exist until the early 20th century, when the Russian artists and early kinetic sculptors Alexander Rodchenko, Namgambo, and Vladimir Tatlin began to experiment with it. The first real breakthrough came in 1920, when the American artist Man Ray assembled 29 coat hangers based on the whipple tree, a mechanism that has been used for centuries to distribute force evenly through linkages when horses or mules pull a plow or a wagon. The next and biggest breakthrough came in the early 1930s when the American sculptor and trained mechanical engineer Alexander Calder started to apply the whippletree mechanism in a new way. Instead of attaching lower elements to both ends of the wires, he replaced one on each arm with an abstract shape. This opened up a new universe of possibilities, and Calder explored it without hesitation, making thousands of awe-inspiring mobiles over the next 4.5 decades, ranging from miniature size to 100 feet. The term mobile, a French pun meaning both mobile and motive, was coined by Marcel Duchamp while visiting Calder's studio in 1931, although he apparently already used the term in 1913 for his bicycle wheel, which some consider to be the first kinetic sculpture. And now it is your turn to make a mobile using materials that you can find in your own home. Okay, so the first thing that you're going to want to do is gather your supplies. We're going to be using wire coat hangers, which always seem to have abundance of. And you're going to, of course, want to use some egg cup holders. I'm going to use this styrofoam because I think it will hold up to the elements, and I think I want to put my mobile outside. You might need some tape if you don't want it to show. You want to use some clear tape. You're going to need wire cutters. Sometimes you can use some really heavy-duty scissors to cut coat hangers, but they can be really difficult. So I would suggest finding some wire cutters if you can. You're going to need some pliers, scissors, super glue just in case. If you don't have super glue, you can try and use a craft glue like Elmer's or tacky glue. You're just going to have to glue things down and then walk away and let them dry for an hour or so. I'm going to use some heavy-duty thread. This is actually macrame thread. It's pretty, a little stronger than sewing thread. If you do not have macrame thread on you, you can just use regular thread, sewing thread as well. I've got my sewing needle here. Also got some floral wire to use if you don't have floral wire, and obviously you can't go to the store to get some, you can use twist ties. So these are handy dandy, useful, something that I like to keep tabs of, hold on to just in case. And then I'm also going to be using some buttons as a way to weigh down my egg cup holder thingies. So the first thing I'm going to do is cut my egg cups out. Okay, so now I have all my little individual pieces. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to clean them up and try to make them look a little neater, nicer. Make these little pieces look intentional. I'm also thinking about creating kind of like a petal-like structure. So I think I'm going to draw some shapes on my cups. and see how that turns out. Okay, you may have noticed that I abandoned my pen early on in this process. I have lots and lots and lots of years of experience making art and teaching art. I have a really strong sense of how things are going to go when I cut them, which is why I give up on the pen. You might decide that you need some guidelines first before you cut, and you want to draw your shapes on your egg cups first. You know, the more things you make, the more experience you have, the better you get. So I have all my cups cut out, and they kind of remind me of like daffodils because it's yellow. It's kind of got that shape. So now I'm going to set aside these cups for the time being and start working on the metal armature of the mobile. So I cleaned up my workspace. I've got my metal hangers that I'm going to use, and I have started clipping some of them. You will notice that hangers can be incredibly difficult to cut. The wire is pretty tough, and that's why these clippers really come in handy. Cut these pieces, and I'm going to start off by making the top part of my mobile. And to do that, I'm going to take these two hangers and put them in a cross formation. That way they'll be a little stronger. I'm also going to twist this one. This one's pretty loose already. I'm going to twist it so it's facing this way so I can kind of double up on that hook. I noticed that I grabbed my floral wire. This stuff works great because it's so flexible. And the way I'm kind of using this wire to reinforce this cross shape that I've created with my hangers is that I'm making sure that it's kind of established, wrapped around the top here, and then I'm wrapping it through and under these other shapes, if that makes sense. Now I would encourage you to continue wrapping your shape to make it look a little more intentional. So it's not just functional, it's nice to look at too. Okay, so I wrapped my hooks so they're together. I decided that the legs of my mobile were a little long, so I chopped them. You also may have noticed I've curled the ends. Now, wire hangers are hard to work with. They're really stiff because they have to hold up clothes. So you're gonna need some strong hands to help you with this. When I do this, I hold one end with my left hand because I'm right-handed. Take my pliers, put this at the end, and then I just curl it down. And then I switch my hand around so I keep curling it, and this time I'm curling it up. See? And then you got a hooky do. Okay. Next part that I want to do is I want to create a centerpiece for this mobile. So I'm going to wrap this part of the hanger around at the top. I'm going to use this wire that I wrapped around the hook to kind of hold it in place. And I'm going to do it again. Got the hanger part in my left hand, pliers in my right hand. And then I'm going to bend this hook down. I'm using the strength of my left hand to hold the wire in place while I bend this down. Okay. You can see I have a hook shape there. And then I'm going to smush it together. Okay. So I got this shape. And you're going to start off getting a straight piece of hanger. You can put your pliers in the center and you bend it down with your left hand. Okay. You move the pliers over. See? And then you're going to take your left hand and you're going to push the wire up. Okay. Then you're going to switch over to this side. I'm actually going to squish this a little bit. You see cat. So I'm holding it, and I'm going to bend that wire up. Okay? So this creates a little place for your wire to rest. And then I'm going to make some loopy loops at the end. I'm holding it with my left, and I'm going to bend it down. And I'm going to switch from here to here to push that wire up. Okay. Same thing over here. Holding it in my left hand, pushing the wire down. Also making sure that this lump that I created, this bend in the wire, is pointing up while I'm bending the wire down. I got this piece. And now I'm basically going to create this part. Okay? So I'm going to start off by taking a piece of wire. And I'm going to create a loop like this. My little egg cup is going to sit on top of it like that. And I'm actually going to make the hole a little bigger, hoping that will encourage it to spin in the wind. Okay. So this loop down here, holding it in place. So once I got that, I'm going to bend this down. Take this piece. Put that together. I'm gonna close that loop. Okay, so you got that. And to create some visual interest, I'm gonna shake it up by adding different lengths of cups, if that makes sense. Something I forgot to mention at the beginning, you really should be wearing glasses when you're cutting wire, because it can fly across the room really easily. Last thing you want to do right now while we're stuck at home is stab yourself in the eye with a piece of errant wire. So please wear glasses. You've been warned. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a button. And the thing about the button is that it kind of helps with weight. You need to put some weight in these little egg cups, especially since they're made out of styrofoam. They don't have a whole lot of weight behind them. So in order to kind of create some balance, you're going to have to add some weight. And I'm using buttons to do that. You can use beads if you'd like. There's lots of ways to do that. I'm also using my macrame cord, my thick cord here. Like I said, thread works really well. To make a knot, I just kind of hold the thread between my thumb and finger, create some loops, and then I roll that together. And I take my needle and I pierce that little thread ball that I created. Just pull it through. And you have a knot. And you want to make sure that your knot is obviously bigger than the hole in your button. Okay. If you need some buttons, if you need to look for some buttons in your home, often our clothing comes with little extra buttons stitched to them, and that could work. So I've thread my cord through the center of my little egg cup here. There's my button. And what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to cut this. And I'm going to tie it to the end of this hook that I've created. Now this macrame cord is a nylon cord. It's plastic, so often what I'll do is burn the ends with a lighter. You can also use a dab of glue. I like to tie it a few times just to make sure. And the reason why I'm talking about, cauterizing the knot is so it will stay put. And this is where your glue can come in handy. I'm just going to dab a little glue on there. Okay, so this is the center part. I'm hoping to create some spinners in the center here. And I want to create like a tier of them. So I am going to super glue this button to hold all my various little egg cups in place. You could also use piece of tape and some craft glue, some tacky glue, and hold it in place that way. And what I would do is take a piece of tape and put it, just create a thin piece of tape. Masking tape will probably be the easiest. You do this and then cut it so it's small. And you would basically wrap it around the wire like this. And then you could thread your button on top of that. Obviously you need a button that's holes are big enough. Okay, see? No. Okay, another word about safety. If you choose to use a nylon cord like I'm using and you want to cauterize your knots like I'm doing, please be very, very, very careful. This is a nylon cord. When it's burnt, it melts and it turns into like this molten plastic. If it gets on your skin, it's gonna burn really badly, and I don't want that to happen. Also, if you are a young person and you're doing this project, please make sure that your parents or your guardians are okay with you using this type of material, or if you do want to burn your knots like this, you want to ask for some help. Okay, so I have one more little egg cup to add to my mobile. I would encourage y'all to decorate your mobile. Tomato, tomato. You could put some ribbons on it. You could use some glitter. I would not use spray paint. Spray paint has a tendency to dissolve styrofoam. If you're using the kind of egg cartons that aren't styrofoam, you could spray paint those. Anything that you can add to dress your mobile up a bit more, to make it sparkle. Now I'm thinking about glitter. I think I might have to put some glitter on this. Because the thing about mobiles is that when they're out in the wind, they blow around, and if you have something metallic on your little egg cups, it's going to catch the sunlight and it's going to sparkle and refract. It's going to be really pretty. You know, this could be a good Mother's Day gift, because we have Mother's Day coming up in May. I really hope that we are all free to leave the house by then. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Okay, so real quick, I'm gonna show you the burning process that I use again. Again, you can also just put a dab of glue on the end of your knot and it will also not budge a bit. This will not, the burning, you can't burn traditional sewing thread unless it's like a polyester based thread. It's got to have some plastic in it. Okay, so here we go. I think I'm done. Now I have to like hang it up outside and see what happens. So I hope you've enjoyed this latest edition of Philbrook. Be safe, be well, and happy crafting.